As a reminder, always seek out training from the shop supervisor or the technical director before attempting any task or demonstrations in this video. If you have never performed a task that I discuss or demonstrate, especially if it is one of the more advanced tasks or operations, you should only attempt them under the supervision of the shop supervisor or the technical director, especially if it is your first time doing so. If you haven't done something recently or would like a refresher, ask to be retrained or have the shop supervisor or technical director supervise you performing the task. As always, be safe in the shops, on stage or backstage, or in the production support areas. All right, let's get into changing this blade. I'm pretty convinced that the blade is full of pitch and gum and chipped teeth, and it's making the saw be noisier and cut rougher, so we're going to change out the blade. The first thing to do back here is turn off the breaker. This does not have a plug. I can't just unplug it from the wall. It's hardwired into this transformer, and that's hardwired into a wall outlet. It is labeled panel J circuit 6, so we will go turn off panel J circuit 6. We've turned off the saw. We can test it and push the power button. Nothing should happen. I got nothing for the go button. That means it's safe. Always, when you're working on tools, when you're working on machinery, unplug them or disconnect the power. If this is a high activity place, we should actually lock out the breaker. I'm the only one working in here today, so I think we'll be okay. So the first thing we have to do is we have to remove the shroud. And the shroud and the leaf guards are there to protect and collect dust and keep your hands away from the blade. I don't have the ripping device in here because we aren't really doing ripping. It's in a drawer with other parts. There's a bolt back here, and I just need to get that out. The bolt is 11/16 of an inch. We're going to pull this thing forward and work with it out here where we have more space. A few turns, and then the nut and the washer come off. And that allows the shroud to shift to different positions, whether you're doing ripping cuts or the otherwise. And I think I have to take this inside leaf guard off in order to get it off. So I will do that. Off. The leaf guard comes off. Now with that off, this whole thing should lift up and out of the way. If I needed to, I can disconnect the dust hose, but I'm not going to. We have a blade changing wrench here. And these are normally reverse threaded. So normally tighten is this way and loosening is that way, but because of the direction it's spinning, it's going to loosen this way, and I can see from the threads. And these teeth are all chipped up. Carbide is missing. This is just a really nasty blade. So the first thing we have to do is we have to figure out how to stop this from spinning. And usually you can just take a block of wood and jam it in under there. And as you loosen up the nut, Should stop it from spinning. There we go, just like that. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. This has a really wide shaft, so you can put on dado blades and other attachments. Molding heads, though I would not want to run a molding head on a radial arm saw. Take these out, we're going to put them back in the same order. The teeth are pointing this way, so that comes off. Got a brand new 10 Ryu 14-inch blade, 60 tooth with the 1-inch arbor. I'm replacing it with a 60 tooth. It looks like I had an 80 tooth or more tooth. It probably got 80 to 100 tooth. It's probably not marked. Grizzly 35 millimeter by 3.0 by 100 tooth by 30 millimeter bore. So let's take the protective coating off. Might have to raise the head up a little bit. I probably do. Okay. Ever so slightly bigger than this. So normally we would reach down here and crank this up, but I also normally have it wrenched off in the back. This knob in the back is going to loosen up the column. Crank that free, and now we should be able to raise the whole thing up a bit. 3 or 4 spins. Good. 14-inch blade slides on just like that. That ring is necessary. In a way. Yeah. I actually don't know where this ring came from. Oh. Okay, that ring came out of the insert of the blade. So we do not want to keep that. After all, this is the right way. The words, well, there's no words on this one. No label. It's etched real finely here. So it's not always a guaranteed thing that your words are going to be facing on the outward side of the blade. I'm going to put this collet back in. Now it's real important that we put it back in the same way that it went. This inside has this sort of raised ring on the outside, and the outside is flat. And what that extra ring does, and then the other, same thing with the other one, is that provides extra pressure out here rather than just pressure in the center. So that will provide a more positive lock for our saw blade. Remember, it's reverse threaded, so I'm going counterclockwise to tighten instead of clockwise to tighten. All right. Put that in there. Blade changing wrench. Don't super tighten it, don't over tighten it. As with the table saw, when you're tightening these blades, if you tighten them too much, when you're trying to loosen them up and free them up, you run the risk of slipping and jamming your hands into sharp blade teeth and stuff. So this is hanging here right by the saw. We don't change the blade very often, but we don't want to lose the changing tool and have to deal with an alternate wrench. That wrench is a nice fit for this nut. We're not going to strip the nut out because we're using that wrench that came with the tool, and it's easier than trying to find it in a drawer and losing track of it. Okay, so I'm going to raise the blade a little bit more, free up that, get that piece of wood. Which way is up? There's up. Okay. Counterclockwise is up, clockwise is down. And then we simply reassemble things. I like to have it kind of close to level. When you're ripping and you turn the blade, this needs to be tilted down to the thickness of the wood so that this acts as an anti-lifting kickback device. But for your general cross cuts, we want pretty much even clearance all the way across because we want to be able to, have our maximum cut thickness with our material and keep that consistent throughout. So that's where we're going to put it. Put our nut in our washer back on, 11/16 nut. I'm going to make this a little snug. I don't want this shifting with the vibrations of the machine. And then I need to put back the other leaf guard on the other side. And this I also do not want vibrating loose and coming undone. So I'm going to make sure that's snug. We've done it. Everything's done. So now all we have to do is we have to lower the blade while it's running down into slightly below the surface of the table. And then we'll lock it down in position. The reason we have it locked in position going up and down is that if it's not locked in the back, the saw can vibrate and can slowly drift down and down and down, and then it's digging a deeper and deeper groove into the table. And then we have to replace the table more often. Since we're only using it for cross-cutting, we're going to put it in a slightly below table level and then lock it off. I've turned the power back on. We're good to go. closely. Really, there's a bit of a wobble to it. Interesting. Shouldn't have that wobble when it's spinning down. Now I can loosen it up. And we shall see what happens when we cut with the new blade. Oh my God, such a difference. I'm not even hearing it cut. That's pretty awesome. What do we do with the blade? We don't want to just throw it in the trash. We have a responsibility to keep sharps and sharp objects out of the trash. So if anyone's digging through the trash for any reason, they don't cut themselves on the blades and the sharp objects. So we have a couple of different options here. I can try to put this back on, but it's probably not worth it. I may cut myself putting this back on. But I can either take this blade and I can sandwich it between two pieces of wood and run a bolt through it so it can't go anywhere. Or in this case, I can simply reuse the packaging that it came in, and this cardboard box will provide protection in the trash for the dull blade. This blade has a lot of chipped teeth. It's not worth taking it somewhere to be sharpened. Whoa. Whoa. I don't know if you can see that, but wow, it has 3 completely missing teeth. Wow, I didn't even see that in the spinning. Long past its life. So we're going to put this in the bag. Put it back in the cardboard box. Tape up the cardboard box. And then we'll be safe to throw it into the trash and dispose of it. It's also metal. We could send it to metal for recycling. But I think this is the best bet. I'm not going to save it. I'm just putting it in the box for protection in the trash. And we shall see what happens when we cut with the new blade. Oh my God, such a difference. I'm not even hearing it cut. That's pretty awesome.